Welcome in. I am the Crypto Bull God, and this is all in the charts. If you appreciate the content, make sure to hit the thumbs up button, drop me a comment, and click the bell icon for all notifications. And if you want to be as gracious as Todd and drop me a super chat, go right ahead. Todd, super chats are never expected, but always appreciated, sir. We can certainly take a look at Brett and Wojak. I think I covered them actually pretty extensively a couple days ago, but happy to look at them again. Not too much has changed since my last update. Guys, the last time I streamed, so today's Thursday, the last time I streamed was on Tuesday. Not a lot has changed. We'll take a look at the charts. I'll update you on what I think makes the most sense. And then I'm going to open it up to TA Q&A. I think the length of the stream will be dictated based on how many questions I have coming in. We're at this point where I think we are preparing for a rather large move to the upside. We can discuss why that is. Nothing has changed for me in terms of my outlook on the market. Nothing has changed in the past 2 days. J. Kim, welcome in. No, my friend, I gave an extensive update on Caspa. Really don't have anything else to state about it. And I marked out the levels that you want to watch for. And as long as we don't break below a key level that I signaled a couple days ago, completely fine with the chart. It's just having relative weakness at the moment. All right, so let's get in to the price action. So since this move, you can see here, one of the things that I've clearly laid out for you, now this is the 12-hour chart, one of the things that I've clearly laid out to you, we typically do red and green lines for resistance and support, respectively. The blue lines are indicating the higher lows that have been coming in. Look what has happened since we had this wick here on the 12-hour, right? We wicked all the way down to, it looks like, about 58,900, okay? What has happened? We've had a move up, a consolidation, a move up, consolidation, and now a move up and further consolidation. It is not surprising, guys, one bit to see that price action at the moment is having problems at $68,000. How many times on this live stream have I said to you, once we reclaim $68,000 and confirm it as support, that, in my opinion, is when all systems are go. And you're going to see Bitcoin move in relatively short order. Don't kid yourself, okay? We are heading into a presidential election in a couple weeks, and I want to level set the conversation here and distinguish two different things. You can have and I hope you do, you can have a preference on who you'd like to see be elected as the president of the United States, right? And I think fundamentally there's huge differences between the two candidates, and I do think moving forward for the country, it'll be very impactful in terms of who's elected. But we're here to talk about cryptocurrency and investing, right? It doesn't matter who's elected president for the market. You're going to hear a lot of this talk over the coming weeks. I'll make a prediction, okay? If President Trump is elected president, you're going to see the markets run really hard, and then there's going to be a pullback of some sort, and then we're going to continue going up. If Kamala Harris is elected, you're going to see some sort of pullback and then continued movements up. But the point being that the trajectory is still up. There isn't anything in the charts that has changed, right? Now, again, don't want to come across in an arrogant way. I'm very humble and recognize the market's going to throw us some curveballs, right? So unless if something changes, though, materially on the high time frame, right? We talked about Caspa, right? We talked about Caspa. J. Kim's expressing some concerns about something with the RSI. Guys, we extensively looked at it, right? And that's a great example of something where high time frame, when you zoom out, the thing's in a massive uptrend. It's just people are getting really salty and confused over recent price action in the past several months because we've stalled out and we're just consolidating, right? But there isn't anything that I shared from you a couple days ago that should fundamentally change our view. Same thing on Bitcoin and same thing with the rest of the market. Unless if we see, now I'll tell you what would be concerning is if from this level we started to break down and started coming right back down to 61 and then all the way back down here. That would be concerning to me, right? And we'd have to reevaluate price action. It's not what I would expect, right? We would still have the higher lows coming in here, but what that's opening up the door to, should that happen, it's opening up the door that this line will break, this line will break. We don't want to fuck around with the market structure, right? We've been creating market structure. And I heard some arguments. I was on a space the other day, and there was a gentleman speaking who, I was on a spaces today too, but there was a gentleman speaking who indicated that if you zoom out, we're still creating lower highs. He's absolutely correct, guys, and it doesn't differ. We just hit on this. It doesn't differ from what I've shared with you, right? We still have all these lower highs coming in, right? However, the difference today versus in the past is right now we're beginning to see higher highs and higher lows coming in, starting with this capitulatory wick back here, or wicks, back in August, right? When we saw this huge move down and this huge volatility here, we created this swing high, this swing low, and this higher high. That hasn't happened within this structure the entire time, right? So relative to this time frame right here, we've created the higher highs and higher lows. Now, consistently with what I said, we just have to start taking out these other lower highs in here, okay? It's all about getting above 68. Now, I know $70,000 is a psychological level. I know the highs here, if you look, we're at 70,000. So technically, we'd really have to get above $70,000 in order to truly feel confident on a trend reversal to the upside. Again, but my view based on just months now of talking with you guys is that $68,000 is going to be the name of the game. So let's remain patient. Let's not forget all of the key things that I shared with you a couple days ago on a lot of things that look bullish in the charts that should continue to give us confidence that things are beginning to turn around, and we should see continued momentum going into the end of the year and into 2025, which I think is going to be an explosive year for crypto. Nothing's changed on the 2-week. The monthly still has a bull pennant breaking out. This was another observation that I shared on a Twitter Spaces yesterday, or X Spaces. Somebody was talking about basic TA. I want to share this thought with you because I probably shared this with you at some point, but it's been a minute. That's what all the hip kids say. It's been a minute. Now, it's been a minute means it's been a little bit. So just you know, if you're as old as me, sometimes you might miss certain things. But it's been a minute. So a couple things here. Someone was talking about basic TA on this Spaces, and I kind of chuckled to myself, and he was talking about distribution versus accumulation. Well, a couple comments here. If you're struggling with life and trying to understand what's going on here, let's exercise basic technical analysis. This is a bull pennant. There's no other way to state it, right? Could it break down? Yeah, of course it could. The pattern could fail. However, there's a higher probability that the pattern is going to break to the upside. It's already starting to break to the upside. The other thing that I offered the conversation was, if you're struggling with this price action, do this, okay? We're going to come up here, and I'll explain why I'm doing this. Now, I know I've done this before. I haven't done it regularly, but I've done this before to demonstrate a point. If you remove the price wicks, what do you see? And I'll explain why I'm doing this. Now, well, you see a tight range, right? There's a very tight range here. Why would you want to look at something without the price wicks, right? Now, the price wicks are an important part of the story. Remember, every chart is a story. There's a narrative being created by the chart. The price wicks are important because it illustrates a couple different things. Namely, it illustrates volatility. It does indicate buyer and seller demand, okay? So it's a very important piece of the puzzle. However, if you were to remove, it's like this basic concept in actuarial science. If you were to cut out the volatility, cut out the fat, and you were to look at the meat of the move, we are in such a tight range, guys. And we spent a lot of time a couple weeks ago looking at prior times when people were not sure if something was a accumulation or distribution. We went through an entire live stream talking about that. If you go back to past corrections, you can see price never when we've had these large corrections in price never held in a tight range. Price didn't hold in a tight range. Price didn't hold in a tight range. What are we doing right now? We're just accumulating, guys. Like, we just have to be patient. This market just tends to be so impatient. Yeah, so I hope that view really does help you out, because I think sometimes, depending on crap, let me close out of this and not save the changes. Leave. Okay. I think sometimes when you're looking at a chart, it can benefit you in this case to remove the price wicks so that you're really focused on the meat of the move, because those price wicks express volatility. Again, don't mean to beat a dead horse here. We'll move on. The price wicks are an important part of charting. The candlestick formation, the buy-sell side pressure, the volatility, it's important, but sometimes it's good to eliminate that fat and just look at the meat on the bones. It's making me hungry for chicken wings. I guess I had this up because I did want to touch on this. For all those who are, unclear on Caspa, again, higher highs, higher lows. I don't see any issues here. This is the Caspa BTC relativity chart. We have simply, and this is a great example of something where I am very transparent with you guys. I saw something, I was on a Spaces just a little bit ago. Check it out if you didn't listen. WolfWeb3 here. Give him a follow. Give the team a follow and check out the Spaces. But there was a video circulating. I'm not going to search for it. But there was a video circulating on Gareth Soloway. And usually, I'm not trying to throw shade on anyone, and I usually don't call people out specifically by name. But the reason it rubbed me the wrong way was, if you watch the video, I guess he was on Crypto Banter, and back in 2023, he was asked a very straightforward question in terms of his success rate on trading. And he said out of around 100 trades, he only lost 3. That's bullshit. Like, if you just exercise common sense for a moment, no one has a 97% success rate on 100 plus trades. It's a near impossibility. Okay? So I hope one of the things that you can appreciate about the content, as small a channel as it is I'm a straight shooter. I'm shooting from the hip here, and I'm very authentic with you guys. Caspa USD has gone lower than I expected, right? Okay, so I was wrong in terms of how low I thought prices would go until we start creating our new all-time high. However, that doesn't, just because prices have gone lower than what I was anticipating, it doesn't fundamentally change anything in the chart, unless if something in the chart has fundamentally changed. And nothing in the chart has fundamentally changed. So you guys need to chill out. This is the Gaussian channel we've looked at before. We don't want to enter the Gaussian channel on the weekly. Nothing concerning going on there. Bitcoin dominance, it looks very close to peaking. The DXY, now interestingly, if you've been following the DXY and this apparent renewed strength in the dollar index, which isn't what you want to see, typically there's an inverse relationship. As the DXY loses strength, crypto and all of your risk-on assets in the stock market are trending up. I've shared with you guys, there's nothing concerning here. Just unbiasedly evaluate the chart. What do you see on the chart? I see lower highs, okay? Lower highs, and I also see lower lows. And the fact that we bounced off a major moving average on the weekly chart, the 200 SMA, and we bounced off the 100 psychological level. There was price confluence there at 100 with the 200 SMA and the 100 psychological level. We bounced off of there. I think we could go, I will make a prediction, you can call it a prediction, I guess, based on the chart, okay? And we're going to see if this comes true. I'm going to mark it here. We will top right in this area, okay? Anywhere in here. So right between 104 and as high as 105. So what I'm saying to you, in other words, is what you could see. Appreciate everyone new tuning in. You can hit the thumbs up and start dropping your TA questions. Today is TA Q&A. Been a little off schedule recently, so this is the part of the live stream dedicated to you. So anything you want me to chart, throw it in the comments. I'm going to be going down the list rapid fire, but in generalities, what I would anticipate is that the DXY coming anywhere up into this area and then again rolling over going into 2025. We'll have to see if that plays out. Man, I need to find a good masseuse to work on my neck. My neck has been so fucking tight. That's what she said. This is Doge. I think this is the last chart we're going to take a look at, and then I'm going to get to your TA questions, so make sure to drop them in the comments. Doge right now is just doing what Doge does. This here looked like a nice rounding bottom and a swift move up. We have another nice rounding bottom. It doesn't matter that it was longer. This is a beautiful bottoming structure, and it looks like we want to get a massive move up. I am in the camp that meme coins, until proven otherwise, will be the biggest narrative in 2025. And Doge is going to hit over $1, okay? And Doge is expressing some strength today. So it's not because of Elon Musk. It's not because of, you know, these fundamental narratives that we want to come up with. The chart's just extremely bullish. So this is a beautiful bottoming structure. So we'll have to see how that plays out. I have major areas of resistance sort of painted in here. You know, the interesting thing is once Doge clears approximately 34 cents, there really isn't a lot of price confluence here. I mean, you could mark an area of price confluence right around there for resistance at 45, but really between 34 and 74, it could do a blue sky breakout relatively quickly after breaking 34. So, and confirming it as support. It'll be interesting to see how quickly it moves once it starts moving up. All right, let's get to your TA questions. Let me drop off. So I had a couple come through on Super Chat from Todd, so I'm going to get to those first. Let me see. And then time permitting, we're at 17 minutes, so we still have another 13 minutes here. Let's take a look at Brett. So this is a larger meme coin holding. You know, the crypto meme triple threat. I have Whiff, Brett, and Wojak, okay? Right now, it looks like we're trying to break. This is on a 3-day. We're trying to break out of this downward resistance here. Now, this candlestick, when is this sent to print? Okay, this actually prints today. So it doesn't look like, unless we get some strong price action in the next, like, 2 hours, that it looks like we're trying to re-enter down here, which is not what you want to see. You wanted to see this back-tested as support and bounced off in relative order. But the question we have to ask ourselves is, where could we potentially bottom here? Well, it looks like right around this area here. Again, we're not going to make it perfect, but you can see there's a lot of price confluence here. You see these wicks. We had a hard time getting above it. We've broken out. It is possible we could start bouncing somewhere off this 9.5 cent area before continuing to move up. Anything on the price indicators to take a look at here? MACD's beginning to pick up on the 3-day. We're close to getting a bullish cross, which is great. Stochastic RSI looks healthy. The relative strength index is at 53, which is a pretty healthy neutral category. We want to start pushing up towards 60. Chart looks good in my estimation. It's looking really good. The other thing I'm going to show you, Todd, if you weren't here for the other live stream on Brett, we're going to take a look at Brett Pepe. Now, one of the nice things, I think one of the things that you can do to assess the relative strength of your altcoin, you can pair it against some of the stronger performing larger tokens, right? So in this case, Pepe's been a huge runner, right? It's funny looking back. At the time, as a joke, I bought like $50 worth of Pepe, and I saw that $50 grow into a lot more than $50, and then I thought to myself, maybe I need to reevaluate the meme coin space. Okay, so what is going on here? Well, Brett paired against Pepe. It's consolidating here in a pennant, right? And we've just broken out. So if Brett is going to resume and continue to show strength against Pepe, what I would anticipate now that we've broken out of this pennant, we can come all the way down here, and that's fine. But I would expect a continued move up here, and for Brett to outpace Pepe moving forward. Keep in mind, Brett is only around a $1 billion market cap. Pepe, I want to say, is somewhere around 4. So, Brett would have to 4x just to get to Pepe's market cap. Let's take a look at Wojak. Yeah, we're starting to get a cross up on the MACD here. This is the weekly. Okay, so we're looking at this on a weekly time frame. Stochastic RSI looks healthy. We have a bullish confirmation. We're above 20. The RSI looks beautiful at 62. This thing's had a really nice recovery. Very nice recovery. Not surprising. Let me see. Yeah, not surprising to see us run into resistance right around this area here, okay? You can see the confluence to the left here, all those touches, all right? Candle bodies, candle wicks, love to get confluence on the chart where the candle bodies are touching a line. Provides more credence to that area of price confluence. The more touches and some bodies on the line. You know, when you draw price confluence, in my opinion, from charting for as many years as I have, you don't want to just focus on the wicks. If you actually focus on the bodies as well, you want to get a lot of touches on the price confluence. The bodies actually lend more credence and credibility to that area of price confluence over just charting against price wicks. Because think about it, all you're doing is accounting for volatility if you're drawing areas of price confluence based purely on price wicks. So this area here is non-surprisingly going to provide us a little bit of a challenge to get above. Once we do, there's going to be a blue sky breakout. But I'll tell you what, the chart's looking great. All the price indicators look good. We'll have to see how this candlestick prints. Now, the one thing I will be watching for, Todd, on this candlestick, I don't want to see this thing flip red. If the weekly turns red, a couple things I would stay there. First off, it would be a gravestone doji. We don't want to see a gravestone doji, okay? And the second thing I would say, though, is a lot of times with these volatile assets, you have to take a little bit more of a grain of salt to the formation of the candlestick because there's so much volatility in these things. This thing, I believe, is still sub $100 million market cap. I think it's around 90 or 85. So there's going to be a lot more volatility in here, but the chart looks great. I mean, what else is there to say, Todd? I mean, or anyone who's considering buying into this thing. I mean, if you know what Wojak is, it's arguably a meme that is as popular as Pepe. So this is sort of my dark horse play, and you can see that right now we have higher highs and higher lows coming in. Again, this is a beautiful chart. You can tell me about your world-changing asset and how much utility it's going to add to the world, but a lot of those tokens charts look like shit, okay? And we've looked at a lot of them. So just keeping things real as I always do. Donkey Don, good to see you in here. Mazda Dashcam, it's been a bit, brother. Good to see you. Everything's going well here. Track, always nice to see you, my friend. Total 3. Jake, you dropped 3 there, my friend, so I'm just going to take the first one that you shared. If I have time, I'll circle back, but I want to try to get to everyone. I appreciate the engagement, but I want to make sure I'm trying to get to everyone here. So it looks like, this looks like it might be an old chart. Oh, Christ. Oh, excuse my language. All right, let's see if we can't clean this up a little bit. Okay, so this is providing resistance at the moment. This is on a 2-week. So what we're doing is we're looking at total 3. Total 3 is essentially the entire cryptocurrency market cap, but we're stripping out a lot of things that will skew that view of your altcoins. We're taking out Ethereum and Bitcoin. So we're taking out like 80% of the market cap, okay? Or 75, whatever the heck it is, 77, 80% of the market cap. Because if you look at a total market cap chart, it's predominantly skewed towards how Bitcoin is doing. If you're looking at a total 2 chart, which just strips out Bitcoin, it's heavily skewed towards Ethereum, right? And you can kind of look at that at your leisure to confirm what I'm saying there. But right now, I think we looked at this before, but right now, we're facing resistance. That's obvious. We have downward resistance. But again, I'm not making this shit up. I'm just showing you what's on the chart here. It's just a bull pennant. That's what's going on here. All right. So you take a rough target, put it at the point of breakout. Who the hell knows where this thing's going to break out? Maybe it breaks out at the first week in November. There's your technical target. So over $1 trillion, up towards 1.4 trillion. So again, these things, when you're in the moment, the interesting thing, if you've been here for a while, this is really going to resonate with you. But when you're in the moment, a lot of the times, some of these realistic price movements seem unrealistic. But then what happens is you go back in time and you think to yourself when you're way down here, man, we're just never going to get out of here. And then all of a sudden, you got that Pareto distribution going on where you see, 80% of your gains in 20% of the time that you're invested. And you're like, shit, this market is cray. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But nothing really concerning here. Love to see the MACD. Histogram beginning to turn a light red and flatten out here. See how we had this bearish cross down, but now what's happening is it's beginning to flatten out. We should start to see a curl up. Relative strength index looks like it is caught in between a range that I've indicated for price confluence. Yes, you can indicate influence on an RSI just like a price chart, despite what some technicians would otherwise say. So it looks like we're right in between 50 and 60. We want to break out above 60, ultimately get above 70. When you're getting above 70, the way to properly interpret that, your relative strength index is very bullish and it's becoming in an overheated level. But thirdly, that's where you see your biggest gains within the market. So it's not just because we're getting overheated that all of a sudden things are just going to pull back. It's saying, hey, just to let you know, we're super bullish. You can expect a lot of monumental gains here, but at some point there's going to be a big pullback. So everything's looking great here. I don't really don't have anything else to add there. Link. We have not taken a look at Chainlink in a long time. Great question. This is one of those OG coins at this point. It's funny. Chainlink really, in the grand scheme of things, has not been around for a super long period of time. Let's go back in time. 2018, 2017. That's not a long time, 7 years. But in this market, 7 years is a long time. Oh, man. So many areas of price confluence. I'm not going to read them all off to you. But I will tell you that since we last charted this, green is for support, red is for resistance. So clearly there's a lot more resistance coming in here. We got this downward resistance here. So what you want to watch for on Chainlink, if you hold this thing, the first thing I would comment on is you want 950 to hold. You don't want to break down below 950. If you break down below 950, now you're entering a territory where you could go as low, not the end of the world, but you could really go as low as 8 to 560, right? So you don't want to fuck around with 950. 950 needs to hold up. What you want to watch for is some sort of price movement in here that's basing and then break descending resistance. And then it's all about breaking these other areas of resistance. One of the things you can do if you want to assess the potential likelihood of a break to the upside, I love to go to smaller time frames and look for bullish divergence on the RSI, which is what we're going to look for right now. Now, this isn't bullish divergence because the price is actually moving up, but I love to see that the relative strength index is following suit and moving up as well. There's actually, now I would argue this is some bullish divergence here on the 3-day, which is great to see because really what's happening here? The story is the relative strength index has been increasing. Price has really just been going sideways here. So on the 3-day, I would argue there's definite bullish divergence. On the weekly, same thing. I think I would argue there's bullish divergence here. Really great to see. You're also starting to see a MAC cross up on the MACD. As long as Bitcoin doesn't poop the bed, I would imagine you're going to start seeing a run in this thing pushing up towards, where are we at right now? $11. I would imagine you're going to start seeing a push up towards this $13 to $15 range. So that is my take there. Harmony 1, I don't see it hitting 92 cents. Sorry, my friend. Sorry, my friend. The chart is on the weaker side, unfortunately. APT? ATP? APT? I feel like that's in a hip-hop song somewhere. I don't know. I'm dating myself on a Dr. Dre song or something. ATP. I don't know what I'm saying right now. Just, you might want to ignore me. Okay, let's take a look at ATP. Aptos. That's what it is, right? No, it's not. Yes, it is. Let's take a look at it. Look at it on Coinbase. How long it's been around on Coinbase? Okay, decent amount of price data here. This is on a week. I'm going to keep it on a, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to consolidate the price action. I'm going to put this thing on a 2-week. Feels good to get back to TA Q&A. I feel like we really haven't done this extensively in quite some time. My schedule's been a little rough lately. Okay, so this is your main. Now I could draw an area here, and we can draw a range there at the all-time highs. This is the major range that's going to cause you an issue between 18 to 20 bucks there at all-time highs. Other areas of resistance, I mean, it's probably pretty obvious. We wicked right there, so if we look left, we can see there's price confluence right around there, right? Look at the touches here, the touch here, all these touchies, right? Once we start to, and I don't want to clutter up the chart. There's another area at 13 bucks, but we're starting to write up here. The major thing you want to look for on Aptos, you want to watch for this thing to decisively break above 10 bucks. $10, by the way, $10 is also a psychological level. We talk about that a lot on this channel. So the fact that we could get above $10, which is a key area of price confluence we've identified, and it's a psychological level, that's really step one for me. Now, it is nice to see. This, to me, at the moment, is looking like a nice little rounding bottom. A lot of times, as long as there's momentum in the chart and momentum in a market, the way a lot of these structures I have seen play out with this sort of rounding formation, you see a little shot up to the upside, and then you don't want to buy into this. Don't buy into this price movement if that happens. You buy on this price movement when we pull back. You don't want to buy into green. You want to buy into red if you know what you're doing. Let's take a look at, yeah, beautiful. MACD's starting to get a cross up RSI. Looks beautiful. Stochastic RSI. Areas of support. Where do we want to see areas of support hold? Pretty obvious right there at 570. I certainly don't want to go below 570. And I would say ideally, let's try to stay above 8 bucks, right? 8 and above, right? Let's start pushing this thing up. Let's get up here and ride this. That's what she said. Let's ride this and just continue on the way up. I talk like I know what I'm talking about, right? As it relates to my jokes. I don't even know what I'm saying half the time with the jokes that I say. Matty P. Does open interest in BTC matter, or is it not a useful metric? I honestly, I don't know the answer. I love just being candid with you. I don't know. I don't look at it. So, again, it's not to say, I was reading something else that made me think of this. It's not to say there aren't other technicians out there looking at things that wouldn't be useful to look at. I look at what works for me. And I try to keep things stupid simple. I'm always open to looking at new metrics and new insights on different things. But I use what works for me, and it works well. And I consider it pretty simplistic and effective. So I don't really know the answer to that. Josh, good to see you on the live stream, man. GLMR to 888. Well, I don't know about that. Not familiar with the token. EMA Death. J. Kim. J. Kim. If you're this concerned about Caspa, now I already addressed this, but if you're that concerned about it, then sell. Okay? Sell and buy something else that's running. And what's going to happen is you're going to learn a life lesson. Because sometimes I can come up here, right, guys? And I can honestly share with you what I see in the chart. You don't have to listen to me. I don't offer financial advice on here. You can go out and do something different, and maybe you'll be right, maybe you'll be wrong. Sometimes, no matter how many times you repeat something, it's not getting through to someone. And the only way that person is going to learn a life lesson is by making a mistake. So, do I think it would be a mistake selling Caspa right now and buying something that's been running hard like a SUI? Yes, I think that would be a mistake. But to each their own. If you would like to do that, go for it and learn a life lesson. Jeprox. Stonks. Is that a real ticker? That's a real ticker, for real? For real skis? Stonks. This isn't going to have a lot of price data. I can already tell. Yeah, I can't chart this. There's no point in me charting this. It's in a massive, it's in a large uptrend, but the data's so immature it's not worth charting. Does anybody have one more ticker symbol for me to chart out? If not, we're going to call it a day. I see there are 15 people currently on board. Feel free to say hello or drop me a TA Q&A question, and I'm happy to address it. If not, we are going to sign out. Meme champion. Matty P, we'll take a look at Cardano, sure. Cardonzo. Is it Cardano or Cardonzo, as Jim Cramer would say? I haven't looked at this thing forever. By the way, we'll take a look at a couple things here. With Cardano, since you brought it up. Nothing has changed. We've spent time talking about this before. Consolidating in this range. If we go to a lower time frame, is there bullish divergence on the RSI? At least there's a little bit of bullish divergence on the RSI. This is a 3-day, and as you can see, price is going sideways here, and the RSI is gradually increasing. That is good to see, okay? Now, what is this depicting? The last time we had a conversation about Cardano, no matter how weak the chart has been, what I've tried to, if you're invested in this, not to throw shade on the project at all. I don't really, honestly, I don't really know much about the project. I haven't spent any time. But again, keeping things real, we have higher highs and higher lows coming in, which is great. There's a lot of altcoins, and I think Matic falls into the category, where this breakdown here, this break here actually resulted in either a double bottom or a lower low. You don't want to see that. Okay, even Harmony 1. I think Harmony 1 had a double bottom. Same with, I'm not sure about H-bar. H-bar might have had a higher low. But in any event, we do have a higher high here, which is great to see. The one thing I want to focus your attention on, you see the price confluence, but the one thing I did want to focus your attention on, because I posted something out the other day, and let's see if this is still, if this chart is still holding up. This is charting charting Cardano against XRP, and what I have argued is from this point in time today, and I said this like a week or two ago, ADA will outpace XRP based on this chart. This is ADA Cardano charted against XRP. So whatever you think XRP is going to do, this ascending line here that has held as support tells us that as long as this here holds, ADA's price performance has bottomed against XRP, implying that from this point moving forward, should that line hold, ADA's performance will outpace XRP. I hope that makes sense. Just pretend this is a USD chart for a moment. If this was a USD chart for Cardano, I mean, clearly we're in an uptrend, right? Yeah, we've had a setback here, but clearly we're in an uptrend. What I would anticipate is some sort of trying to recapture this area and maybe even breaking out to a new all-time high. We'll have to see. But I would suspect we'll get up to this area. So what that would imply, you're talking about price performance that would outpace XRP. We'll just pick the midpoint. If it comes up to this area, let's just pick the midpoint, it's going to outpace XRP by 350%, right? So, and here's another way to think of it. So meaning that if you believe that to be true, ADA would need to do a 3.5x from current price levels and get closer to $1 or to $1. And then it would have similar returns as XRP. That's another way to state it. All right, guys, I think that's going to do it. That was the last TA question. We're running up against time, guys. It's 38 minutes. If I didn't get to your TA question, feel free to drop by next week, and we'll get to it. By the way, for the All in the Charts next week, I may teeter with, I indicated that I'd be traveling, and it's frustrating trying to do live streams on a stupid little laptop. So what I may tinker around with is doing All in the Charts on an X Spaces. So be on the lookout for that. Might be an auditory form of All in the Charts. Now, the nice thing about that is if I opt to do that, and I'm not on YouTube for some of those sessions, it's actually more interactive because I can promote people to speakers and I can have a live interaction with you. So be on the lookout for that. I might do that. So we'll see. But until next time, everybody, let's all spread awareness and let's carry the education forward. Thank you for dropping by. Appreciate it.